Welcome, I am the Kaiju no Kami, and this review of Gorgo is a very special one. Why do you ask? Well, for two reasons. The first being that the Kaiju no Kami channel has just hit 3 years. Yes! Thank you so much for your support. Year 4 kicks off with this review. And with that said, also because this is my first Patreon requested review. Thank you so much, Mohammed Kadeen Al-Radi. I hope this review is worth it. And I do hope I said your name right. If you want to be able to request more reviews from me, check out my Patreon, the link below. But let's move on to the review. Thanks to the popularity of giant movie monsters due to Godzilla and the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, artist Eugene Laurier was hired on to direct a new monster movie by a couple of Hollywood criminals known as the King Brothers. Laurier had also been the director of Beast of 20,000 Fathoms, along with a few other monster movies titled The Giant Behemoth and The Colossus of New York, so it was only obvious he would make another monster film for British cinema, which would go on to be named Gorgo. It was originally planned to be filmed in Japan until their support fell through. The next idea was to have the monster attack Paris. However, it would take the monster 2 weeks to get there from the sea, so the decision was made to have it take place in London, with the posters advertising it as like nothing you've ever seen before. Unless you've seen Godzilla, and King Kong, and the Beast of 20,000 Fathoms, and well, you get the point. Is Gorgo just a Godzilla knockoff, or does the movie have some of its own merits? Let's watch to find out. Gorgo begins with a couple of treasure hunters, Sam Slade and Joe Ryan, played by William Sylvester and Bill Travers, exploring a shipwreck when their ship is damaged by a wily volcano. Oh my god, this movie's budget is so cheap they couldn't even afford an actual cabin for their ship. It's all blue screen. Sam and Joe head to the nearest island to request supplies to fix their ship and are met with open arms.
Hi. Is there a harbor master we can talk to? How do you enter with an issue?
Ooh, did I say open arms? I think I meant with great contention.
Gaelic, huh?
Doesn't sound like welcome in any language.
At least from the adults, because they meet the harbor master's assistant, an orphan boy named Sean, who seems all too trusting.
Does the harbor master live here?
It's the right place you come to then. Come in.
We're here to steal your money.
Come in.
We're here to kidnap you, boy.
Come in.
We're here to crush our enemies, see them driven before us, and to hear the lamentations of their women.
Come in.
Sean shows them the harbor master's private collection of stolen antiquities before he arrives, ordering them to leave within 24 hours.
No ships allowed at Nara Island for more than 24 hours without a permit.
Well, look, friend, we're not seaworthy. We won't be for 3 or 4 days.
I don't make the orders. That's the way it is.
Oh, and what are you going to do if they're still there in 24 hours? Have a temper tantrum? On their way back to the ship, they learn that 2 of the island's divers have gone missing, finding one of them in shock before he dies.
He's dead. Dead, how? You saw him come up. You ask me, he died of fright.
Naturally, this entices them to search the watery depths, only to find themselves confronted by a giant monster. Later, the undersea beast surfaces, wreaking havoc among the island before it retreats due to a bunch of fiery logs? Worst monster ever. The greedy duo blackmail the harbor master into paying them to get rid of their beast.
Supposing we got rid of that thing for you.
The beast?
Well, duh.
How about this for a down payment? You like this one, Sam?
You must be out of your mind. A thing like that's priceless.
Duh.
What do? Do they kill it and give its carcass to a lab for study? Do they keep it alive but still give it to scientists to study? No. Nope, not at all. They sell it to a circus. Clearly these guys have never seen King Kong. Oh, but before that, we learn that Sean stowed away on the ship.
I came to let him go back to the sea where he belongs.
Why?
Maybe to save your silly skins for you.
From there we do get what is probably my favorite line from the movie.
Now, if it so much as moves, start shooting and then run like the devil.
That was a great line. Anyway, back to the plot. The circus deems the beast Gorgo
Hurry, hurry, hurry to see Gorgo, the last remaining link with prehistoric times.
It is soon discovered that Gorgo is just a child, prompting the movie to reveal the mother, who decimates Nara Island in search of her child. The Navy is dispersed to deal with the monster without success. In the meantime, Sam starts to have a conscience and tries to free Gorgo before Joe stops him.
Mike's already been killed. Who's going to be next?
Joe's response to those lost over this ordeal?
I'm as sorry about Mike as you are. It was a tough break, that's all.
But he's got a wife and 2 kids.
Okay, well, we'll send her some money.
Who are you, Carl Denham from Peter Jackson's King Kong?
Damn it, Preston, we're gonna finish this film for Herb. We'll finish it and donate the proceeds to his wife and kids.
Back to the mother, she makes her way to London, taking a children's song to heart.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
She then moves through the city, and I have to say I am quite impressed with the amount of work that went into these miniatures. Not only do they look quite accurate to London, but when the behemoth destroys them, it looks like she is tearing through actual buildings made of brick. It's a very nice attention to detail you have there. Too bad I can't say the same about the planes that attack the mother. I mean, seriously, how do you miss that? The planes are clearly daytime when the monster is clearly attacking at nighttime.
Does not compute. Does not compute. Does not compute.
The mother also shows how much she hates product placement. In time, just after we have to watch Joe save Sean because the movie needed to put in some forced rescue plot that doesn't even make sense, the mother and Gorgo are reunited with each other and the duo head out to the sea.
Leaving man himself to ponder the proud boast that he alone is Lord of all creation.
You're going back now.
Bringing an end to an interesting, enjoyable Godzilla clone. Can you really say it is a Godzilla clone just because it has a prehistoric dinosaur attacking a city, though? I don't know, as Gorgo does a lot of its own stuff, that the opening with the ship, Nara Island, and it featuring a giant dinosaur are really the only parallels it has to its Japanese counterpart. Gorgo was clearly inspired by the success of Godzilla, but it has a lot of heart and thought put into it. Way more than I ever anticipated. It will never win awards for being the greatest movie ever made. Hell, the horrible blue screen effects instantly threw that idea out the window. Yet, it has a lot of charm to it that made it interesting. Our main heroes are not all that great, as they hardly grow throughout the film. Even Sam's realization of what they have done comes off as a little sudden, since we aren't sure what is causing his remorse. Yes, some people died in order to get the beast to the circus, but why should he care? Were these people his best friends? If they were, we never saw anything to indicate such. Thus, a massive change to his character makes little sense. Granted, compared to Joe, it's something, as Joe is the same guy at the end of the film that he was in the beginning. Either way, neither of these guys really matter to the overall plot of the film, which is where the movie sorely falters. They exist solely for the monster to have a reason to attack a city. Nothing more, nothing less. That doesn't necessarily make things bad, as a lot of people go to see these movies for the monsters, not the people. But why can't it have both? Why can't it please both ends of the spectrum? Why does a movie have to have one or the other?
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Moving on, the cheap budget this movie had is quite obvious. I already mentioned the blue screen ship interior, but what is worse is how even the backgrounds in a lot of scenes are blue screened in. Even a lot of the military scenes look like they are taken from stock footage reels or something. Thankfully, all of these lead to a really impressive recreation of London for the mother to attack. They used a high-speed camera for the destruction scenes that allowed them to slow the footage down in the movie to really show us the details of everything coming apart. The attack on London Bridge is superb. superb, although my favorite moment might be seeing people getting crushed by the falling debris. Add on top a scene where everyone is running into the subway, only for the mother to step over it, crushing nearly everyone beneath. The ending itself is kind of interesting due to the mother and child just leaving. It is said that Laurier's daughter hated the monster being killed in 20,000 Fathoms because it was an innocent creature, so Laurier promised to make a monster movie where the monster would live in the end just for her, and that is exactly what he did. Gorgo's original script was vastly altered from the time Laurier wrote it to when it was finally filmed, yet his ending remained intact. I do like the designs of both creatures, and the suits were equally as impressive. Lastly, the film score was helmed by Italian composer Angelo Lavanino. His score is pretty good at times, although there are areas of the film that have no music in them, which could have been improved upon. Take this evacuation scene for example. It's pretty much dead air the entire time, even when the tanks are rolling in. Now let's put one of Akira Ifukube's tracks in there. It feels much more energetic and sets you in the mood for what is about to transpire. Why they chose not to score this moment, I do not know, but after watching so many Japanese kaiju films, I've grown accustomed to hearing music play during the evacuation scenes. In the end, I highly enjoyed Gorgo. It was far more entertaining than it should have been, as it brought its own flavor to the screen. A Godzilla ripoff? It might be, but a good one it is. If you have never seen it before, definitely check it out. Even with its cheapness sometimes and the horrible video quality, it still turned out a pretty good film. Until next time, bye.
It's nurse or nothing.